Okay, by show of hands, or more specifically, hit the thumbs up button if you're like me and you are completely over this Gary blackmail ultimatum scheme that will make Andy marry him. This is just completely asinine on so many levels. Folks, we're talking season 7, episode 20, entitled Beautiful Liar. And trust and believe, there was nothing beautiful about this episode. I give it a 5 out of 10 though. I think it was slightly better than last week's. I was originally going to give it a 3, just like last week's episode, but there were a couple of elements that actually did make the episode enjoyable. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that in a realistic setting, there is no way in heck Gary would just talk smack to that many people to their face and not get jumped. I think that's the first thing we can all agree on here. And the sneak peek pretty much told the tale where he revealed that the hood rat duo not invited to his wedding was Zach and Fatima. And he even, retracts his original offers. Like, you know what? I don't want any of y'all at the wedding. Which we do know they, some people will show up, at least Sabrina, based off that one behind the scenes clip from way back when. So yeah, he's just talking his smack, and it's interesting because the most talked about portion of this segment were fans reacting to when Gary called out Karen in terms of, oh yeah, you only have babies by what, only 2 men, right? Or is it more? And then Zach wanted to square up even more than he did when Gary called Fatima out of her name. And then people were like, look at that, Zach. Look at that, Zach. And I'm like, yep. And the deer in the headlights, Andy, is just, I am not a fan. Give me drunk Andy from season 3 or 4. Remember when I used to do drunk Andy impressions? Those were good times. I'd rather have that Andy back than whatever form of Andy we have right now, because this is not working for me whatsoever. Because everybody knows this is some BS. Even Rich is like, getting married to Andy, but wait, don't you have a baby on the way, fam? And then I love the part where Rich is like, you know what? If you don't leave right now, we're going to beat your ass. Well, actually, Zach is going to do it first. This is his baby shower after all. Then it's me. But he kisses Andy, and Sabrina's like, no, you back away from my friend. I wish Gary would have been like, your friend, well, she's my fiance. And then she kind of like falls back like a cardboard cutout. I don't know what Andy is. The direction here is really bad. So basically, Maurice, Rich, and Zach sit outside. Well, they're out in the living room area while the girls are having a powwow in Andy's bedroom. And simply put, they know good and well that this woman would not willingly be with this Negro again. But Andy is lying through her teeth, even going so far as to say, yes, I was actually seeing Gary the whole time I was with Jordan, and none of them buy it. But at this point, Andy just keeps saying, look, it is what it is. I'm with Gary. Why can't you just be happy for me? And well, hey, it is what it is. And the girls still don't buy it. But at this point, there's nothing they can do. Maurice is eavesdropping. Zach is like, I thought Andy, of all people, would be smarter than this. And then they just wind up ending up leaving. Zach says, hey, tell Fatima I'm downstairs in the car. Rich offers to help Sabrina clean up. And Karen is offered a ride by Zach, but it turns out that I think Danny said she would give her a ride back. And then Maurice opts to leave so he doesn't have to clean up. So Fatima stays behind. And make it make sense, people. Make it make sense, people. So for whatever reason, in the penthouse that Andy knows is bugged by Gary because he told her, she opts to tell Fatima everything regarding the ultimatum of, I have to marry him or Jordan is ruined. And I'm like, so you wouldn't tell Penelope over a phone which is, FBI protected or untrackable, but you would tell Fatima in the penthouse, which Gary can allegedly hear everything that's going on. Because part of me feels like he overheard the baby shower commotion and opted to go over there when he did just to make a scene. And I'm just thinking to myself, really, Andy? This makes no sense to me. So we go over to Ethan, who's doing a pop quiz speech kind of thing with Jordan, and his mind, while actually on point, is a bit distracted at moments. And Rich comes over to let him know about the situation involving Gary. And he basically says, look, man, just let Andy go. I don't know what kind of nonsense is going on with, him and Gary. I mean, her and Gary, but I think it's best for you to just step off and focus on your campaign. Then we get a great scene of Zach coming home, and he's bonding with Michael because, Miss Rose is there taking care of him, and, she steps out for the night. And fans are like, I wish Michael could get 1 or 2 lines to show, like, he's developing properly, because just a simple good night or something would have been great, or a hey daddy, but I don't know if that's going to happen. It would be great if it does, though. But essentially, Zach has a little sit down with his son to let him know about, hey, just wanted to let you know you're about to be a big brother, When I was growing, I had a big brother, but we were raised separately. And I'm like, wait, is this hinting at Jeremiah dying? Or was Zach just simply talking about, hey, when I was younger, I had a big brother, but unfortunately we were raised separately. But I want to make sure that you are going to have a close bond with your sibling. Even further, he goes on to say, hey, do you want another sibling too? And I'm thinking, like, is he referring to Fatima being pregnant at some point? Or is it Zatima lore? Just saying. He did, not by name, but did mention his brother. So I don't know, man. The timelines may be converging after all. So we go over to Sabrina and Rich comes over to her apartment, and she's like, wait, did you just go over to Jordan's to tell him about Andy and Gary? And she kind of gives him the side eye, and I'm thinking to myself, Sabrina, you are the last person to try to tell somebody else who found out some juicy information and then they ran to tell somebody. You did the same thing when Danny told you about the DNA test results. But, whatever kind of fun mood they had was quickly killed when Sabrina mentioned sperm donor, and then goes on to mention that it's Damani. And he's like, wait, isn't that the same guy you were having dinner with? Wait, your coworker? Well, actually, he's not technically my coworker. He works in a different department of corporate. And he's like, well, you don't know that much about him. Well, I know he's good enough, and he's going to go get the necessary test and whatnot. And, well, you're not going to keep in contact with him, right? Because you're just getting his sperm. Well, actually, yeah, we will keep in touch in case he wants to know about the baby as it's developing and growing. And it's like, nah. Basically, Sabrina's in a, hey, this is the guy you don't have to worry about. And Rich ain't feeling it. And I don't blame him, because she goes so far as say, no, he doesn't like me like that, knowing good and hell well that he does. This woman is a liar. So, speaking of potential liars here, Tony and Danny. 1, I don't feel bad for Danny. 2, this is strictly karma. 3, Tony is freaking lying. I think he is messing around with Tiffany, or at the very least allowing her to try to get him back. He gets, I guess, back from work or something and goes to jump in the shower. Danny takes it upon herself to not go through but answer his phone, and then sees the picture of her in that lingerie from a few anniversaries ago. And as soon as he gets out of the shower, she is on that ass. Basically, what the F is this? And I'm thinking to myself, Danny, I don't care. Because if this were Preston, if he had done the same thing you did with your phone that you did with Tony's phone, you would react the same way as him. You would be deflecting. You would walk away or kick him out of the apartment. Because Tony, the fact that he would rather leave the apartment naked than have this conversation lets me know, nah, this is there's something going on that he doesn't want to tell Danny about. And it goes back to those that episode that night where he had dinner with his kids and Tiffany, and they were like, slumber party. And then he, the next morning he was getting dressed like he had been at Danny's all night. I don't think he was at Danny's. I think he, woke up super early, got over to Danny's about 5 or so, saw that she was knocked out, and then he pretended to get dressed early in the morning like, oh, I've been here all night. I came home from the dinner. You were knocked out something fierce, so, that was it. Nah, you mess around with that ex-wife. I don't care what you say. So from there, what's her name? Was it Madison? The name of the wedding planner, who's really excited about Gary and Andy's wedding. And, she ups and leaves because Andy's really quiet and whatnot. And then, Gary gets on her behind about that, literally. And, before she's able to walk away, makes her give up the panties. And I'm thinking to myself, Everybody has their kink, and I am not going to kink shame, but I'm like, it seems to me the only reason, I mean, Andy, if all it takes to get Gary off your back is, a few pairs of dirty panties every now and then, I'd say do it. Like, look, I'll still be with Join. I'll UPS you the panties. Just leave me the hell alone, okay? Can we do that instead? Because it seems like you want the panties more than you want me. Got the draws! So, over at the bank, Sabrina and Maurice are chatting. Maurice wants to get the tea on the Andy Gary situation, but in the midst of that, she's like, look, go do your job for once. And then Damani calls about, hey, I actually got back from the appointment. The blood test results should be in soon, and I can't wait to see how this thing works out for you. So from there, we have probably the scene of the episode I have the most to talk about because, good Lord, Pam, I can't believe the writers did this because I was rooting for this character for practically the entire season. I love the aspect of her not just being there for Karen, throughout the duration of setting up the new salon and whatnot, and, jumping on the social media bandwagon to promote the salon, and then being her own businesswoman in her own right with Roots to Riches. But then it got to the point where it's like the writers just made this character just, if Karen, I was team Karen this entire scene, and if Karen got up and like slapped Pam or dragged her by the hair or something, I would not have been upset. This woman freaked up the company credit card buying the products for her brand, Roots to Riches. And she said, hey, I didn't just buy stuff for my product. I bought stuff for the salon too. Yeah, a pillow and a lamp, which I do believe they actually sent back because if you remember, episode 2 or 3, when the grand opening was supposed to go down, the power got shut off because the credit card was freaked up because it had so many charges on it. So Karen had to pay out of her pocket to get the power back on, and then made Pam send, mail back a bunch of the stuff that was ordered. So as a result, the credit card's been freaked up for a while now. But the fact that, okay, Karen has a desk full of past due bills, and she's talking to Pam about this. Pam, oh, don't worry about it, girl. I'll let you borrow the money. And it's like, you use company funds on your product. You freaked up the credit card, so all these bills are past due. And you say you'll let me borrow the money to pay them. Max, I don't know. And then from there, Pam is like, well, you never believed in Roots to Riches. This ain't got nothing to do with me believing or not believing in your product. This has to do with you using the company funds to build your brand. And now you freaked up everything. And then she's like, you know what? I want to pay off that little funky credit card in eight months. 8 months. Folks, if you don't have credit cards, maybe you don't know about this, but if you run up a chart, if you have a balance on a credit card, it accumulates interest. And if the more your balance is, basically, the less available credit you have, or the closer you are to maxing out the credit card, the higher the interest rates. And I don't know the exact amount, but we do know the credit card is at least $5,000 based off of season 2 when the card got stolen. So essentially, we're looking at a credit card bill of interest that's at least a couple $100s per month. So we're looking at probably an additional $1,300 in interest charges combined with the current balance of a maxed out credit card that Pam ran up. She's full of shit. I really hate that she was written to be like that. I just hate that. No, she should fire her ass. Okay, so over at the law firm, Penelope calls Andy. Andy doesn't say shit. She's asking about why did you break up my brother. She doesn't say anything. I'm done with this storyline. So Fatima basically says, look, Gary, let's get rid of his ass. Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. And I'm not talking about just simply getting rid of him as in kicking him out of Atlanta. I mean, like, permanently. So from there, we go over to Marie, who comes into Hayden's office. And he's like, hey, I just got some updates about the divorce. Nah, she wants some of that good. So in the midst of, rubbing his shoulders and reaching down, below the belt, because how about a weekend getaway? It's like, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't think it's a good time because, you're in the middle of this divorce. It's not a good look. Let's just wait a little bit longer. So Tamara comes in, but the secretary is gone for like the front desk secretary is gone for like 5 minutes. So she's like, I'll just go back to Hayden's myself. And then they have the funniest exchange of the episode. And it looks like a fight's about to go down. It's like, you're the one with the gray pubic hair. No, that's Glitter. I'm just like, what the? And Hayden tries to, break up what's going on. He chases after Tamara and she's pissed off. Fatima is, just giggling at him. It's like, shut up, Fatima. And then from there, Marie comes out and notices how, sad Andy's looking. It's like, did Jordan break your heart? Girl, that's why it's called conceal it. So she steps out. And from there, and also Fatima and Andy look fine as hell in the pink and red outfits, especially Fatima, man. But basically from there, we go over to the juice shop where Tony gives Rich basically a pep talk. If you watch Bruh episode 2, season 4, Bill got the same kind of talk from his old college basketball coach about getting his, head out of his behind and thinking about his future. Like, do the right thing. Stay out of these streets. Go home to your wife, Regina, and your unborn child. Or in the case of Sistas, Rich, I know you say you don't want to have kids, but Sabrina, you're in love with her. And to be completely honest, is she really that bad of a person to start a family with? So do what you got to do. And he mentions, look, you got this new store opening up in this area across town with white folks. Put some avocado toast on there. And I'm like, yeah, put some pumpkin spice on that menu. No doubt you're going to make a lot of money. So Rich considers, having that kid. And then from there, the episode ends with Jordan going over to Andy's office, demanding to talk with her, and that's it. So, yeah, this episode was kind of mid-tier. Hopefully the penultimate and season finale bring this season home. But, yeah, I am over this Andy crap. She is acting like a complete idiot. It's just, no, it's stupid. Sometimes in order to protect the people you care about, you have to make horrendous sacrifices or just be a dumbass. So, there's that. But like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll catch you in the next video.